Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. Coming up this hour on the most dangerous show on the airwaves, is Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes actually out of a job or not? And also, one of the WNBA owners of our very own Storm is suspended for a great reason. We'll tell you why. But before that, today is a very special day, my friends. We are doing our annual Wishes in Flight Miles Drive. That's right. We're going to help out some kids. We're going to get them some money. We're going to get them some miles so they can have experiences of a lifetime. Kevin, tell me how people can help out here.
Okay, the number is 206-404-4444, and you're going to hear it a lot during today's show. It's been running all day on the station. We have calls, to action promos running all day long. So 206-404-4444. And the website is givemymiles.com. Really simple, givemymiles.com.
So if you have those unused miles that nobody's using and that you're not planning on using or that are going to expire, you can donate them to our friends at the Make-A-Wish Foundation for Alaska and Washington. That is specifically for our area to make sure kids from our area get these life-changing experiences. Because who doesn't want to help out the kids? Kevin, I think we have a story of one of these kids, don't we?
Yeah, well, Brian Calvert, who's the morning anchor over at our sister station, Northwest News Radio, has put together a few packages where he's talked to some kids, and he's also talked to the people behind Make-A-Wish, kind of talking about how long they've been doing this and just what you can expect when you give your miles to an organization like this.
This is Brian Calvert, and today we're collecting your unused air miles from Make-A-Wish so that they can grant even more wishes to local kids. It's such a unique and endearing concept. Have you ever given any thought as to how our local Make-A-Wish chapter got started?
My husband, Bob, early in his career in the insurance business, and he went to a meeting in San Francisco. And it was an organization called $1 Million Round Table.
That's where they all heard about a very new startup called Make-A-Wish. It's where Bob Cleveland and the others first saw the short film Stephanie in the Snow.
And it was about a little girl in Florida whose best friend had moved to Utah. She had never seen snow. She missed her friend. And she was a pretty sick little girl.
With the help of the group, Stephanie made the trip, saw her friend, and played in the snow for the first time in her life.
And Bob said, in those days, it was mostly men, of course, in the business. And here they all were, sniveling together. So Bob came home and he said, I have found an organization I must get involved with.
When Bob called Make-A-Wish HQ, he was told Washington didn't have a Make-A-Wish chapter. So Bob and Greg Wong decided to start one here. Their first contact, pediatric nurse Penny Maples.
Do you think we can do this? And I said, oh, absolutely. He goes, well, you know where to get the kids. I said, yeah, but where are we going to get the money?
It wasn't easy, but eventually Washington's Make-A-Wish chapter was established. Today, 40 years later, the dream of Penny, Greg, and BC, as he was known, still alive.
I still sit at each gala and cry when I see what people are willing to do and what they're willing to donate. When our kids' art goes for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. My husband's so used to this now, he's got tissues ready.
And so, my friends, today you can help these kids have amazing experiences. Alaska Airlines has a 1 million mile match promotion going on right now. So, my friends, want to make sure that you can help us out today. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to either call 206-404-4444 or head on over to KVI.com. There's a link right there. You'll see it right when you get onto the website for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And you can donate your miles. You can donate cash. You can donate whatever it is and help out some kids in need. We really, really do appreciate it. Now, some people who need some help, but we're not going to help them out. Instead, we're going to enjoy their suffering. I mean, whatever it is they're going through right now. You have Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes. Is he out of a job or not? Now, let me walk you through everything. Two things can be true at once. You can be the fall guy, and you can be an incompetent boob. And both of them are true. Sean Barnes is the fall guy for Katie Wilson's incompetence, and he is also an incompetent boob. Both can be true at the same time. So, just to recap, for anybody who's been living under a rock, Big mass shooting at the Bite of Seattle, right outside the Space Needle at the Seattle Center on Sunday. 5 hours before any information goes out, is anybody on the run? Do we know anything? Who's dead? Who's alive? No flow of information. Somebody held up a press conference, and now we have one, possibly two suspects on the run. We also now know that the bullets that killed people and the bullets that injured people were not fired by the guns that the police have found, which means likely the suspect or suspects who are at large that we don't even have a description of were the ones who did it. Now you know where we're at. And because there was such a delay getting the information out, because we still don't have all the information, we have one, possibly two, don't even know how many suspects, don't even know what they look like. They're on the run. Somebody has to answer for these failures, but it gets worse. The Seattle Police Department today, announced a portal for people to upload their videos from Bite of Seattle that might help them find a suspect. Let's see. This happened Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Those leads are cold by now. You could have had them when it first started. If maybe you had talked to the media, you could have had that when it first started. If not, at the latest, the next day, you've had 3 or 4 press conferences since then. And you've never actually announced this before. What kind of incompetent morons are actually running this show? So, you've got that problem as well. Sean Barnes, the Seattle police chief, wasn't in town when it happened. Are people entitled to vacations? Yes. Are people entitled to go to business conferences? Yes. However, Sean Barnes is never here because he actually lives in Chicago. His family lives in Chicago. He rents an apartment here. He makes $374,000 a year, then talks about how expensive the rent is here in Seattle on his second home. By the way, me and Jonathan Cho from Discovery Institute got a hold of some documents. Chief Sean Barnes owes roughly $80,000 in taxes. He's got $80,000 in IRS liens on his house in Chicago and all of his assets. Why are you paying for an apartment here when you haven't paid your debts to the government? Look, I don't like taxes at all, but if you owe $80,000 to the government, maybe you shouldn't have the second home. Just a thought. And maybe you should be paying your bills. So a guy who's bad with money is our police chief. A guy who's bad at scheduling is our police chief. A guy who's bad at the job is our police chief. Yet, we know that Katie Wilson delayed a press conference until it was 11 o'clock at night, 5 hours after the initial shooting happened. She says, SPD was told they were delaying it for dignitaries, not a word SPD usually uses. So what happens? You had Bob Ferguson and Pramila Jayapal. Was one of them responsible for delaying it? Bob Ferguson has been releasing information, but it's controlled, basically trying to show it wasn't him, which I don't believe. I actually think that makes me believe it was him. I don't think it was Pramila Jayapal, by the way. And I think that he told Katie Wilson, I want to be at this press conference. I think she's so dumb that she didn't say we need to get information out because she doesn't know how anything works. So she delays this press conference. So she's incompetent. She can't even handle a press conference without everything falling apart. Bob Ferguson doesn't want to be tagged with this. They need a fall guy. So you have Sean Barnes, the MIA police chief. So last night after the show, there's a vigil for the victims of the shooting over at Seattle Center. So I walk over there to cover it a little bit for the media, but when I go to an event, I don't like just showing up and being the media guy. Me personally, I don't like that. If you're at an event, do the event thing. So they had a table where you could write a little note, put it on a little board for the victims. I wrote a little note. I put it on the board. Maybe that makes me weird because I'm there to cover the event. I get involved in events when I go. I filled out the thing, got a little bit of video, but as I was walking up, I see there's a lot of police officers. I see there's a lot of firefighters. I see there's a lot of other people around. And then all of a sudden, walking towards me with his entourage is Sean Barnes. And I look at my watch, And did this thing start already? Did I miss it? Is it over already? Did they do a quick prayer and they're done? No, he was leaving. And I go over to somebody who shall remain nameless. I go over to somebody and I say, hey, where's the chief going? And they go, well, he's got things to do. I go, is he coming back? And they go, don't know. And all of a sudden the wheels start turning. I'm like, oh, that's a very, very not subtle. He's got something going on right now. I reach out to a few sources. Yeah, the chief is meeting with the mayor today because she's going to fire him. I'm sorry, what? I mean, we knew it was coming. I called this 3 or 4 days ago. I said this was going to happen. So then a little while later, my phone blows up. My phone blows up because apparently Barnes has been fired. And what happened was he met with Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, and she said, resign or get fired. Now, in a position like that, when you have IRS debt and you have 2 houses, you got to worry about your pension. You got to worry about getting your money. Does he get it if he quits? Does he get it did she offer him, hey, we'll give you everything. If you resign, we'll give you a golden parachute? We don't know. What we do know is that Barnes was blowing up everybody's phones, telling them that he had been fired. So the first people with the story, me, Brandy, Jonathan Cho, that whole crew, we're putting this out on social media. Shortly thereafter, Fox 13 announces that Barnes has been fired. After that, every media outlet under the sun is trying to confirm this through their sources, and they all start coming online saying, yeah, it's confirmed, it's confirmed, it's confirmed. He's been fired. Right after that, there's an announcement that there's going to be a rally at 8 a.m. Omar Salisbury, he does a lot of streaming stuff, Converge Media. He announces that he's going to have this rally, and they're going to rally for the chief. Leaders of the black community are going to be rallying for the chief. And he shares it on social media. And they're mad because the black police chief has been fired. This has nothing to do with race. This has everything to do with incompetence. But the leaders of the black community seem like they want to make it about race. They seem like that's all they care about. So actually, I retweet Omari's tweet about this, and I say, it's interesting. They didn't really care when the last mayor who was black got fired by the white socialist, but now all of a sudden they care that the white socialist fired the black police chief. And Omari says, well, why don't you come down there and ask them for yourself? And I said, well, I can't at 8 a.m. because, people have lives and jobs, and I was going to synagogue and stuff. But I'll tell you what, if they want to come on my show today, bring them on my show, and I'll talk to these black leaders about what they're so upset about. They were disinclined to acquiesce to my request. So they're not going to be in studio today. I did offer it to Omari, but they had their press conference today. Jonathan Cho was there. He got video of the whole thing. And what I learned is they don't want Sean Barnes fired because he's black. No other reason. They say he's doing a good job. I can go hit for that with them on this. Empirically, he's not. Empirically, he's a C- police chief at best. At best, he's a C- police chief. But it was basically, we want more black representation at City Hall. This is Bishop Reggie Witherspoon, civil rights attorney. Give a listen.
We want to say thank you to the mayor for giving us an audience. It was a very productive exchange. Certainly we will not divulge any of the conversation, but we had implored and admonished the mayor to reconsider her decision, and we can only hope that she will have heard the voices of these astute and amazing individuals behind me to reverse this decision. But we won't divulge anything that was said. It was very productive, very excellent, very dynamic, and we stated our case very clearly, very articulately, why Chief Sean Barnes should still be the chief of the city of Seattle.
Okay, stop right there for a second. Stop right there. So they marched into the mayor's office at 8 a.m. this morning? Dude got fired at 7:30 at night. That means they said, we demand to be your first appointment of the morning. If Sean Barnes gets reinstated, that's because They were pressured to do so. Katie Wilson was pressured to do so by the black community. That's why. Make no mistake about it. So why do you like this guy so much? Can anybody give me a reason why?
Give us any sense of what she said.
No, we want this. We will.
Did she
respect
actually
her.
fire the chief?
You'll have to ask her that question.
I have sat here where and heard mayors say, well, this particular chief, not this chief here, but past chiefs, they just need more time to put their program together. They just need more time to establish their culture and whatnot. Now, I'll be very clear. I represent some police officers and employment issues in relation to the city that have all said that certain things have improved since Chief Barnes arrived. So why would we move backwards is part of the message that we sought to send to the mayor and in support of the mayor, because we want the mayor to do well. We want the city to do well, and we want to be in a place where our children feel like they can come to police departments, that they are respected, that they are cared for, and that we're not second-class citizens when it comes to service.
Whoa. Okay. You had me for a minute there, then you lost me. So if there isn't a black police chief, your kids don't feel safe coming to City Hall. You know what I find interesting about that? Pulled up the command staff, pulled up the staff at City Hall. 60% of the staff is black. 60%. The percentage of black people in Washington state is what? 5, 10%? But 60% of the staff in City Hall is black. When you make all your decisions based on DEI, then these things start mattering to you. I don't care if they're black. I care if they can do the job. And Sean Barnes is a moron. He's a DEI boob. He wasn't here when he was needed again. He isn't here often. And he doesn't have the respect of his officers. You know this conference he was at? You can't make this up. At the conference in Dallas, where he was when the gang members opened fire at Bite of Seattle. You know what one of the sessions was as part of the schedule? Leading when the clock starts now. When the unexpected happens, deputy and assistant chiefs must be ready to lead at a moment's notice. Join our panelists as they discuss command readiness to ensure operational continuity during sudden excessive transitions. Learn firsthand how these leaders navigate high-pressure crises while maintaining the personal resilience required to steady their organizations. Maybe he should have gone. Maybe he should have gone and he would have done a better job. It's one thing to be gone and then come back the next day and you exude confidence and you're ready to go and you say, here's where you upload the videos and here's what we're looking for and here's the suspect. He didn't do any of that. Instead, he yelled at reporters. Instead, he almost got into a fist fight with reporters. So why exactly do you want to keep this guy?
We have a lot of leaders in this community, but I assure you, you will hear from us in an exponential fashion. Right. We in the aftermath, look, man, I'm well read in my history, and we're just not taking this stuff anymore. Right. That day is over. I know the slave master is still alive in people's minds, but there's a lot of us who know better. Yes. So we're going to rally big time, let the mayor know that this was not a great decision if she sustains it.
Okay, so it's because he's black, not because he's qualified. I didn't hear at any point how Sean Barnes is qualified to keep the job. Instead, I heard things like this.
This mayor has had a problem with blacks. The problem being she doesn't hire any blacks. She had no blacks in her campaign. She had no blacks in 14 years of organizing. So it's obviously, it's not that she doesn't like us. I've had that conversation with us. She doesn't know us. And now it looks like she doesn't know that she touched something. We like the chief. He's doing a great job. Crime is down. And the man just took us through 2 years of planning and getting us safely through the World Cup. Come on.
Stop. He's been the chief for a year and a half. He had very little to do with the World Cup. Very little to do with the World Cup. And as we see now, it wasn't him. A lot of it was the feds. So can we be real about this? They just want him back because he's black. You know what upset me most about this? Where was this press conference on Monday? Where was this press conference on Monday to say, we want to do something about gang violence in the black community? We want more police officers in South Seattle. We want more police officers in a gang unit. Oh, wait, we don't have a gang unit anymore. That's one of the things that's been defunded. Everybody who showed up to this press conference today is a grifter. They are a grifter. They want to be in front of the cameras because they didn't actually show up when you had 4 black kids trying to kill each other at Bite of Seattle and killed other people instead. Where were all these leaders for them? Where were all these leaders to fight back against gang violence? And why don't I know the names of anybody who was talking, by the way? Oh, right, because they just showed up today. I consider myself pretty well connected in knowing the faces around there. She says the mayor doesn't hire black people. Look at her staff. She says the mayor doesn't have black people. Go on the website right now. Go on the website, look at her staff, look at the SPD command staff. Look at that. They just want him because he's black. This is the worst DEI hire of all time. This is worse than Ketanji Brown Jackson. This is worse than Kamala Harris because now people are dead because you put a DEI boob in charge of a police department. Let's remember that because you don't have enough security, because you guys were helping to defund the police department, and now you're saying, oh, we want to demand who the police chief's going to be? The only question that remains is Katie Wilson going to cave to this? Is she going to cave to this and hire Sean Barnes back? Sean Barnes didn't show up to work today, by the way. Says he's taking some family time today to go to Seafair and stuff. I would love to go to Seafair today. There's one little problem. There's no Seafair today. It starts tomorrow. So what are you doing today exactly? Fleet Week was last week. Just kind of wondering what you're doing today. I could sit on my deck and watch the Blue Angels too. In fact, I did it this morning when they actually flew. Once again, police chief MIA when he's needed. 2 things could be true at once. He could be an incompetent boob, and he could be the fall guy, which he is. He is both. It doesn't mean you shouldn't get rid of him. It doesn't mean that at all. But Katie Wilson never had a real job before, so we'll see how this actually shakes out. Speaking of how things shake out, up next, my friends, it was all doom and gloom when some girls who support Sophie Cunningham got yelled at by the owner of the Storm. But now the tides are a-changing. Tell you what's going on when we come back. You're listening to The Ari Hoffman Show. Just a reminder, we are having our annual Miles fundraiser for Wishes in Flight. Head on over to KVI.com, click on Wishes in Flight to help out the Make-A-Wish Foundation, or you can call 206-404-4444 to donate your miles or donate cash to give kids life-changing experiences. So I really want to say with this, when we last left our heroes, so let me just catch you up on this story. Our friend Brandy Cruz saw that Sophie Cunningham, who's been very outspoken recently about protecting girls' sports, she's one of the players in the WNBA, was coming to town with the Indiana Fever, that's the WNBA team, to play the Seattle Storm. She said, I wonder if I can get tickets for the girls around here who have been losing meets to boys and losing out on scholarships to boys. And then they can go meet Sophie Cunningham. They can get floor seats. So Brandy found somebody who got the girls some floor seats. And they go to the game. And we had Brandy on the show yesterday. You can get the podcast over at KVI.com. And what happens is this random woman out of nowhere comes over and starts yelling at them. Here's our friend, Annalie Wilson, who's talking about it. Brandy interviewed her right after the game with her friend who wanted to remain anonymous. But she's talking to them about what happened on the floor that night.
Tell me what happened when this woman approached you.
Well, we were just sitting there with our signs that said, like, we love Sophie, like, thank you, Sophie, for speaking up. And so we were holding on, just watching the game. Again, like, we were being super great. We hadn't said anything to anyone else. We were being super respectful. We were just holding our signs and cheering for both teams. And this lady, older lady, comes up to us. And she comes up to us, and at first I think she's going to be nice. And then she asks, like, what are you guys doing? Something like that. And then it was like, Jesus loves everyone. That's what she told us. And I was like, oh, I know. Like, I'm religious. Like, I know. Like, I know. Nice. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I hope Jesus can forgive you for what sin you've done. And, like, something like that. And then she told us that we were effing insane. And that we
and she's like, and she went like this.
Insane.
Yeah. She's like, you better stop this.
And stop pulling. Yeah.
And
for you guys
I
to
hope
come
God
here
can
and
save
pull
you.
This.
Yeah.
She said, for you to come here and pull this.
Yeah.
She said the word?
Yeah.
Did she say effing insane or?
Oh, she said the word, yeah.
Oh,
she said the word, yeah.
So, and you described her to me as, like, what did she look like?
She was, cranky old lady.
Yeah, she was older. I mean, I thought she was
face.
going to say something nice, and she just came up and...
Okay, you want to know who this woman is? As we revealed yesterday, as we talked about yesterday on the show, she is one of the owners of the Storm. Don't you want people to actually buy your product? Don't you want people to actually go to the games? So if you teenage girls are sitting there who somebody paid $1,300 a ticket for them to sit there, and you decide to go over there and berate them? Look, the WNBA has a huge problem. Nobody likes them. Nobody wants to go to their games. They're controlled by trans and lesbians and every DEI hire you can think of, and they've decided they're going to appeal to 2% of the population. Rather than saying, hey, 50% of the population is women, and the majority of them are not trans or lesbian or anything else like that. And you know what? A whole bunch of dudes bring their daughters to games because dudes are usually the ones more into sports. Instead, we're going to alienate the women, and we're going to alienate the men, we're going to alienate the normies, and instead, we're going to focus on that 2% of the population. The WNBA is a huge, huge tax loss, tax write-off for the NBA. But you have a chance. Now you've got Caitlin Clark, who's very, very popular. You've got Sophie Cunningham, who's very, very popular. And now people are actually interested in your sport. I actually have a conspiracy theory. They're letting Caitlin Clark get beat up because then what happens with Caitlin Clark is that anytime she gets beat up, there are more videos about her getting beat up, and then more people will watch the games. So what happens? You have this going on, and while this is going on, you have, hang on, reset a second, random people walking into my studio in the middle of the show. While this is going on, you also have that these girls are trying to go to the game, you're trying to get people to go to your game, and instead you're alienating them. If you alienate your customer, people are not going to buy your product. So you have an opportunity with Caitlin Clark, and you have an opportunity with Sophie Cunningham to get people to buy your product and people actually buying it. Normally, when there's a Storm game, I don't notice, and we're 2 blocks away. Why? Nobody's there, and traffic's not a problem. Traffic's not a problem at all. But when the Indiana Fever's in town, place was sold out, tons of people. So this woman was a minority owner. And what happens is she actually got suspended and fined for 5 games because this story went mega viral. I saw it literally everywhere. And then Sophie Cunningham could have left it at that, but she came out with a statement. She came out with a statement that says, I truly believe there's a safe space and love for everybody, biological girls, biological boys, trans women and trans men. Everyone is welcome at my table. You can disagree and still be kind. Bravo to those girls for standing up for what they believe. You'll be hearing much more about this, that's exactly what you want. You'll be hearing from me soon, she says. Yay for the gifts. Truly embarrassing of the co-owner. Unfortunately shows the type of leader she is. You're right. She doesn't want anybody to buy her product. You want to buy Sophie Cunningham stuff? Go ahead. I think you absolutely should. Caitlin Clark, go ahead. Indiana Fever, go ahead. You should not be supporting the Seattle Storm. Because even though the Seattle Storm sent out an apology, until they give those girls a box for the season or tickets for the season, and the players of the team who insulted them apologize, that's not enough. Here's something else. They've just shown they don't want our business. They don't want our business because they chose the woke nonsense over paying customers. And aren't they a girls' basketball team? So they're a girls' basketball team that doesn't stand for women's sports. If they don't stand for women's sports, why should we? Why should we pay the Storm any money whatsoever? Up next, my friends, more developments, more going on, and a new Trump administration initiative that is going to make sure that illegal alien truckers are replaced with veterans. Give you the full details when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. We spent a lot of time last summer talking about the illegal alien truckers that were killing people here because Washington was issuing them commercial driver's licenses, and you're not supposed to be issuing them to people who can't read English. You're not supposed to be issuing them because, they can't read street signs, can't read hazards, can't read warnings, none of that kind of stuff. And yet Washington State was issuing them. We had these schools that were designed to just issue them without actually teaching them anything, and people died. I think about the young father who died. He was just on his way to work. What was it, on 167? Got sandwiched between two semi-trucks. That was it. He was dead. So the question is, how do you replace the workforce? If there are that many illegal aliens, because we just keep finding more and more and more, you can get rid of them, but you got to replace the workforce. Trump administration today rolled out a plan, which is veterans, why don't we have them do it? Now, anybody who drives around Washington State, especially on I-90, oftentimes you see those convoys of military vehicles. You have to have a CDL to drive a lot of those vehicles. You have to have military version of that, but you have to be able to drive those vehicles. Why not get those guys jobs? Why not set them up for success? If they're driving those things from the Army, they can make a good living here. Why not set them up for success? So they have this idea. Let's have veterans be the truck drivers. What a great idea. Here's what President Trump announced earlier today.
For many years, American highways and roadways have been terrorized by unqualified illegal aliens dangerously driving big rigs like that. You got to know something to drive. Wow, that sucker is a big one. That's big stuff. But they're you have to have a knowledge, you have to have a talent for it, and these people don't have that. They're driving big rigs, semi-trucks, and tractor trailers, all because radical left maniacs at the state level have issued them commercial driver's licenses, even though they're not entitled to have them. They don't speak the language for the most part. Many of these illegal aliens don't even come close. They don't want to learn the language. They don't care about the language, and they don't speak it. They don't speak English. They cannot read basic road signs. In many cases, they've engaged in reckless driving that has caused many, many preventable deaths. Many, too many to even talk about. Last August, 3 innocent people were killed in Florida when an illegal alien from India made an unlawful U-turn, blocking all the lanes of the highway and causing a catastrophic crash. It was a disaster. Just a few weeks ago, a Pennsylvania state trooper was killed by an illegal alien from Haiti driving a semi-truck. He was let in by Joe Biden and the open border policy of the Biden administration. By the way, today we have...
Okay, so we know what he's doing. We know why he's doing it. And this is a great way to solve the problem. This is a great, great way to solve the problem. Now, I got to switch gears. I had a lot more to talk about here, but we got some breaking news for you right now.
Talk Radio 570 KVI. Breaking news on The Ari Hoffman Show.
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson has announced the resignation of Chief Sean Barnes and the appointment of Andre Sales as interim chief. Apparently, there's going to be a press conference to be held tomorrow at 11 a.m. Now, hang on a second here. If he resigned, then that means all the people have to stop yelling and screaming about him being fired, right? And I wonder how much it cost you and me that he resigned. What golden parachute did she just offer him for him to resign? How much do you think this cost us? 300 grand? Maybe 374 grand? Maybe the price of a new condo overlooking Lumen Field? Maybe he gets that paid off for a couple more years? How much did this cost us is my question. So now she solves a little political problem that she has, and we are on the hook for it. We are on the price tag for it. What was the golden parachute? During the commercials, I am going to file a public disclosure request to find out exactly how much we are paying this guy. Now, tomorrow there's a press conference at 11 a.m. Kevin, I might have to move a meeting with Human Resources tomorrow. They want to meet with me at 11 a.m. about a few things. I might have to move. No, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything. It's like that annual stuff, okay? Calm down, everybody. I'm not in trouble, okay? I might have to ask them if I could come in earlier or come in late or something. Because what's my first question at the press conference? Mayor Wilson, did you offer him a golden parachute? Is anybody else in the media going to ask that? You know what? Kevin, I'll tell you what. I'll be here early if I can get Jonathan Cho to go ask that question. That's the only one that matters. That is the only one that matters when he actually resigns. Now, the following is from John Scholes. Okay, I hate the Downtown Seattle Association more than I did before. They're basically our Chamber of Commerce. They're always trying to get in good with wherever they think the power is. Seattle had been on a positive course on public safety with police hiring trending up. No, it wasn't. And crime trending down. No, it wasn't. Particularly in the downtown core. Yeah, you just had the World Cup. It's imperative the next chief of police is able to maintain progress that's been made and instill confidence in our community. Because what he's worried about, guess who gets to pick the next police chief, guys? Guess who gets to pick the next police chief? Katie Wilson. And if Katie Wilson gets to pick the next police chief, gray hair or green hair, maybe it'll be somebody who's never even been in the police before. Meet Moonbeam. This is Moonbeam. And Moonbeam is going to be the new police chief. Moonbeam has no experience, but Moonbeam knows tolerance. So Moonbeam, who identifies as they, them, Moonbeam is going to be our new police chief. This is... Katie Wilson's trying to get out of her own political problems. She thinks she's going to do it by getting rid of the chief. But what this is all showing right now is that Katie Wilson has no political power because the city council is against her. And because not just is the city council against her, all the agencies are against her, left, right, sideways, every organization is against Katie Wilson. So right now, she's the bad guy for firing an incompetent police chief. This is funny. This is great to me. All of this is delicious and insane. It's horrible for Seattle. Absolutely horrible for Seattle. But it's going to be fun to watch. We go to the KVI studio line. Take a call from Ron in Tacoma. Ron, what's going on, man?
Well, you kind of sidetracked me with the trucking thing. I think that would have been a great idea. The problem is you probably don't know this. Many people I know, including myself, quit driving truck well over 5 to 7 years ago because the state of Washington preys on semi-truck drivers. They prey at those scales, and they've destroyed trucking.
You mean P-R-E-Y, not P-R-A-Y, right?
Say that again?
Prey on them like they go after them, not they pray with them to, God or something, right?
Oh, well, yeah,
yes.
Exactly. They prey on their money. And, and it's sad to come to that, but that's why they chose to bring in illegals and anybody else for the jobs, because Americans are smart. They can't afford to pay that money, and that's why you lost the trucking. But anyways, I was really calling about the sheriff. It seems like to me, if you look at all the stuff I've seen over the last couple of weeks, it looks to me like the Democrats are doing the same thing they've done for the last 15 years. They are race stacking these positions. And this is called racism. I don't care what you call it. Race stacking, racism, it's all the same thing to me.
Yeah, well, what they're doing right now is they're literally saying we want him back because he's black. Not because he's qualified, not because he's doing a good job, because he's black, and we want more representation in something that has 60% representation already. If it's 100% and then you get one white guy in there, are you going to say there's not enough representation? To me, this is just flat-out racism and DEI nonsense. Ron, appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Up next, my friends, some more stories to yank at your heartstrings, so maybe you can help out the kids with a few miles today. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show. Today is a special day, not just because the police chief resigned, but because we are doing our Wishes in Flight mileage drive, my friends. We are going to help out some kids today. I mean, come on, in honor of the fact that we don't have the police chief anymore. In honor of that, give some miles. Not trying to get political here with our next guest. Joining us now on KVI studio line, Jesse Ellenboss, who's the Associate Director of Communications and Marketing for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Thank you so much for being with us today.
I'm so happy to be with you, Ari. Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you. Sorry about my little tangent there at the beginning. Let's talk about the kids. What's the craziest wish you guys have ever granted in your tenure?
Oh, my goodness. That is a big question. Crazy? Well, we had one kid who wished to be a World War II fighter pilot, and he experienced that whole shebang with the help of Make-A-Wish Hawaii. So
you put him in a war? What'd you do to the kid?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I think you're going to talk soon with someone else from my organization who coordinated the wish. So I'm going to let her spill the beans on all the cool stuff that happened to him. But to me, I think that's kind of crazy. We had a kid who wished to be a superhero, and we had to work with all of downtown Seattle to make that happen. And everyone came through and made him feel like he saved the city, which was awesome and shows the power of community. And today people have the opportunity to send kids on trips so they can get away from the hospital and experience something joyful and meaningful with their families.
That's amazing. Now, I remember when my son was in the hospital for a little while. Thank God it was nothing bad. I mean, well, it's nothing complicated that required a long stay. But I remember Russell Wilson was walking through the halls. And this is right after the Super Bowl run, because he used to do that all the time, right? And he was so mad because he was getting discharged the day before Russell Wilson Day. And I said to him, yeah, I said, you don't want to be here on Russell Wilson Day. Russell Wilson's for the really sick kids. You don't want to be one of those kids. You want to be out of the hospital. So as great as that stuff is because we're helping out these kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you have a little taste of that. It's not fun to have your kids in the hospital. And childhood illness is absolutely unfair. No kid. I mean, just imagine anyone listening, if your kid or grandkid had to go through chemo and lost their ability to play their favorite sport, lost time with you as family, and felt isolated, alone. And Make-A-Wish comes along with supporters like you from KVI and show them that we want you to experience joy. We care about children experiencing normalcy and something that gives them hope again. Kids should see a future beyond illness.
Yeah. And now, do you have any kids that want to be radio hosts?
You know what? I don't think we have yet, but I cannot wait till the day when that happens. We have some outgoing kids though, so I'm gonna make sure they can share their story with you. We had a kid who wished to go to New York City recently to find his favorite pizza. And he was basically interviewing all the owners of the pizza to make sure they could tell him, why their pizza was the best. And he thought he found the best pizza in the city, but he had brain cancer, and it was really great for his family to see past all the drudgery and be out somewhere besides their little bubble that became, where sickness was. And that's what everyone today has the opportunity to do, is help kids find hope, let's be kids again, have childlike joy and wonder.
And let's make sure they get some New York pizza, because it is the best pizza in the world. Now, here's what you can do, my friends. You can go to KVI.com. On KVI.com, you're going to see a big thing for Wishes in Flight. It's going to be right up there on the front page. You can donate over there. Alternatively, you can call 206-404-4444. And you can donate money or miles to the cause and help out some kids today. And don't forget, my friends, it's expensive out there today, which means the wishes cost more, right?
Absolutely. And this is our 40th anniversary year and our 17th year working with you all. And we could not make these wishes possible for these kids without your support. So thank you in advance for reaching deep in your hearts and giving big to make these wishes come true.
Now, Jesse, just before we let you go, where are we at number-wise? Where do we want to be at number-wise?
Well, we want to be past 10 million, and right now we are at almost 82. We're over 8 million right now.
Over 8 million right now. Okay.
We're climbing.
So then
We're
I
climbing.
want to do this to the audience. By the end of the show, guys, I want to be over 10 million. That's 2 hours from now. Okay, so by the end of the show, I want to be at over 2 million. And don't forget, we have the match promotion going on right now. Jesse Ellenboss, Associate Director of Communications and Marketing for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Ari, and thank you, everyone listening today. We appreciate you.
Always a pleasure. Up next, my friends, lots more to discuss as the show continues, including are your taxes about to go up even more? Guess what? I was just asked to write something for the Voter's Guide against the new taxes. We'll talk about it when we come back. You're listening to The Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. Coming up this hour on the most dangerous show on the airwaves. How much was Bob Ferguson involved in that press conference disaster where we still don't know if there are suspects on the loose or not here in Washington after that shooting? But my friends, today, before we get into all the politics, before we get into all the insanity, we are raising money and miles for our friends over at the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Our friend Brian Calvert over at Northwest News Radio put together this story for us to tell you why you should help us out today.
This is Brian Calvert, and today we're collecting your unused air miles for Make-A-Wish so that they can grant even more wishes to local kids. As Make-A-Wish Alaska and Washington turns 40 this year, have you ever wondered how this all started? Co-founder Penny Maples takes us back to the very first wish granted to a little girl named Sarah,
who was 2.5 years old, and she wanted to fly in the clouds and see Mickey and Donald Duck. I think for the people on the board, still did not wrap their head around what was going on until that happened.
Airfare was covered, park tickets, hotels, even cameras with film provided for everyone who went on the trip, which might be one of the most important facets of Make-A-Wish.
The wishes are for kids. The golden moment or moments are for the family.
Because these wishes are designed to turn the routine of the house into a much-needed respite.
There were no needles. There was no crying. There was no doctor's appointment. There was just
joy. Penny, Greg Wong, and Bob Cleveland began our local chapter 40 years ago. I asked Bob's wife, Deanna, about his reaction to now over 9,000 local wishes granted.
When my husband passed 8 years ago, I said that my picture of him, again as a 6'5", really big teddy bear with mobility issues, was completely healed and was in heaven, bending down and hugging all of the Make-A-Wish children that had gone before him. I know the tears would be flowing down his face. He was an emotional man. He was never afraid to cry. And I think he would just, frankly, be speechless.
And so, my friends, if you want to help out the Make-A-Wish Foundation today, we are trying to get to over 10 million miles. You can call 206-404-4444 to donate. That's 206-404-4444. Or you can go to the KVI website. That's KVI.com. Click on Wishes in Flight and give a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation there. Are you a little strapped for cash? Do you want to take a trip yourself? Don't worry, my friends. We did not forget about the word today. We got you covered, my friends. Today, we are giving away a trip to the Grand Canyon, or your choice of $3,000 cash. All you have to do is text the word I give you to the number I give you. Do not text your name. Do not text your address. Do not text your phone number. We have it. We have caller ID. It's not the 80s anymore. So you just text the word I give you to the number I give you for your chance to win. Today's word is dust. As in when you go to the Grand Canyon, your shoes are going to be covered with dust. Is that dirt or dust? Anyway, the word is dust, D-U-S-T, like gold dust, D-U-S-T. Text the word dust, D-U-S-T, to 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757 for your chance to win. Now, just updating our top story of the day, so that way you guys know what's going on. Sean Barnes is officially out as police chief in Seattle. He is out. He has resigned. Now, as we informed you earlier last night, my phone was blowing up with people telling me, hey, Sean Barnes was just given the choice, resign or get fired. Now, he was texting everybody and telling everybody that he was fired. And now today the announcement comes out that he resigned. Katie Wilson is still looking for a communications director, so maybe that's why the messaging sucks. Hey, you want to make $272,000 a year. You can go work for Seattle City Hall. You can go work for Katie Wilson. You can go do that, my friends. You really can. And then she will have a communications director. Now, on the other side, you're making $272,000. Is it worth it? That's a lot of money. I mean, it's not police chief money. I mean, he was making $374. He was making $100,000 more. $100,000 more. By the way, he's making $74,000 more than the actual mayor. Making $74,000 more than the actual mayor. So, he's gone, and my question is, what golden parachute was offered for him to go? I really want to know. What golden parachute was offered for him? How much do they have to pay him? That is the only question I want to ask. You know what? Oh, okay, this is great. You all know my wife's a reporter, right? So my wife's a reporter. She just DM'd me on X. She goes, let's go tomorrow. I got a media pass. My wife wants to come with me to the press conference tomorrow. Kevin, we're going to have to tell HR lady, okay? I'm going to tell her we're going to pick a different time. I'm going to message her tonight and be like, hey, I'll come in early. I'll come in late. But my wife wants to go for a date at a Katie Wilson press conference. You think HR will be receptive to that?
Well, I don't know what's worse, to be honest with you. Like you don't want to go talk to HR, but you want to go to a Katie Wilson event? Oh,
well, that's well, actually, I kind of like our HR lady. I'm not in trouble. I got nothing to worry about, right? It's just like the annual, like, hey, how you doing? I'm in town. Hey, let's say hi. That's fine. But
your average person would be like, HR meeting?
Yeah,
like,
we're a conservative talk radio station. I don't have to sit through the stupid things. We don't do that around here. Okay? Well, we do the stuff we legally have to. Yeah, Trump hasn't fixed everything, okay? There is some stuff. But the wife wants to go on a date to a Katie Wilson press event. Okay, my dating life with my wife, we are way more fun than this, I will tell you. Yesterday was Jewish Valentine's Day. You know what we did for Jewish Valentine's Day? I brought her flowers, and we sat at home, and we opened a bottle of wine, and then I went to work and write articles about Sean Barnes being retiring. That is what happened last night.
So romantic.
So romantic. So romantic. So I will tell you, a date tomorrow with my wife at a Katie Wilson press conference. Oh, wait a second, Kevin, we got a new problem. Now people are going to know she's my wife. See, right now, nobody knows because she's really nice and I'm really scary, right? And they don't realize we're married.
Well, it's just a matter of time, right? You know that you're going to be able to keep this up. It's just a matter of time.
They don't put it together. She has a hyphenated last name specifically so they don't know she's related to me. It's kind of entertaining. This is kind of fun.
Those are her Clark Kent glasses.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Name.
If Scott has news for us, send him in. Send him in. I see Scott. He's got news. Send him in. Now he can come in. No, now he doesn't want to come in. Okay. So, police chief officially fired. Police chief officially out. He has resigned, and the press conference is going to be tomorrow. Now, what's funny is that the Seattle City Council is losing their minds. They're not happy about this at all. Here's council member Rob Saka talking to Fox 13 earlier today.
I heard about it. I was working last night for a couple hours on some legislation, and my wife was working upstairs in the office and yelled down to me. Police chief was fired? Did you hear that? What? So I heard from local media and my wife. I didn't receive any advance notice, which is in and of itself disappointing. I'm glad that I think I've spoken with a few of my council member colleagues individually on a one-on-one basis about this over the last 12 hours or so. I understand that outreach was made intentionally and maybe inadvertently to Public Safety Committee Chair Kettle, potentially Council President, and maybe Budget Chair as well. A decision of this significance and magnitude, there's only 9 of us. This ain't Congress. There's 535 members to manage. This is something that should have been personally communicated to all of us, contemporaneously, simultaneously, at the same time. It's unfortunate I had to learn about it last night through the grapevine. So I'm disappointed in that too.
So he raises a fair point. That is a very fair point, which is there's 9 of them, a grand total of 9 of them. A little heads up, a little something, or here, better yet, all day yesterday, you could have said, hey, guys, my office is down the hall. Do you mind if I come talk to you for a little bit and we discuss the police chief for a minute? I'm not going to, I want you to know what I'm up to. Inform and consent, right? approve and consent. I'm just going to tell you what's going on, and you don't have to actually agree with me, but this is what's going to happen. What does the mayor do all day? What does the mayor actually do all day? Or is it ignorance? Is it she doesn't know how to do the job? Look, there's a lot of kids out there who run for office, and we've used this example all the time. Kids run to become class president. We're going to have recess for every class. We're going to have pizza every day for lunch, and everything's going to be great, and unlimited bathroom passes and whatever else. But then they realize they don't have the power to give you that. The principal controls that. The teachers control that. The administrators control that. Katie Wilson comes in there and, yeah, we're going to abolish the police, and, yeah, we're going to raise taxes, and we're going to go striking with Starbucks. She's never had a job before. She's never had anybody work for her before. Doesn't know how any of this stuff works. You're going to fire the police chief? Go tell the city council. And you know why you go tell the city council? They have to sign off on your budget. Okay. When George Santos, bad example, but when George Santos was elected, I ran into him at a conference. And I ran into George Santos at this conference, and we were chatting up a little bit. Him and a few other new members, the rookies in Congress. And they were telling me that there's an orientation in Congress so that you know what's legal and illegal. I guess George Santos wasn't listening. So that you know what you can and cannot do. So you know where the toner is. So that you know where the dumpsters are. There's an orientation. I assume there's something like that at City Hall where somebody explains to you, here's how the government works, or maybe they assume you have half a brain in your head. Look, there's a little bit of ego here where the city council is going to be mad they weren't consulted at all. But you need the city council for your budget. His Congress analogy is actually pretty good. If you want them to sign off on your budget, you want them to be part of the conversation. She's thinking it's a dictatorship. By the way, I can't believe I'm defending Sean Barnes in this. Sean Barnes should be fired. Sean Barnes should be fired. The real question is, what golden parachute was he given? Saka wasn't done. Here's what he told Fox 13.
Significant progress. Plenty incidents like Sunday remind us that there's plenty more work to do. And to the extent that heads needed to roll for the bungling of misinformation on Sunday, I don't disagree with that notion. But I disagree that it should be the police chief, and I question the timing of this. Making a decision in haste in the middle of crisis is wrong. I think it is incumbent on leaders to be more thoughtful, deliberative, take time to reflect, emote, deliberate, and then make a decision of this magnitude and of this consequence. So, Seattle cannot afford another prolonged period of instability at the top of its police department for too long. This mayor has sought to distance herself from responsibility when it comes to public safety. Leadership means owning difficult decisions and accepting accountability for the consequences. If this decision stands, their mayor must also own everything that follows. That said, I want to reaffirm, make clear that my focus remains on ensuring Seattle has a police department that is well-led, well-staffed, 100% accountable, and capable of keeping every single neighborhood safe. I believe Chief Barnes was moving us in that direction, and I regret this decision.
Okay, I don't believe Chief Barnes was making anybody safer. I don't believe that for a second. Not for a hot minute. I really, really don't. Because the dude was never here. The guy was never here. He was a boob. He was incompetent. But yes, he is the fall guy. Absolutely, he's the fall guy. You know what I'm looking forward to, though? As I mentioned, date brunch, I guess, with my wife tomorrow. It's 11 a.m. Is that brunch time? That's got to be brunch time, right? Okay, so 11, there's an Einstein's down there near the city hall. Cool, I can get a bagel. All right, so date brunch. You know what I'm excited about this press conference? She's going to be a human pinata. Oh, my God. I don't mean physically. I mean politically. Wait, you know what? We should have some fun. I think after the show today, I should text Cho and I should text Brandy and I should text everybody and we should all go together. I know, I'm bringing them along on my date with my wife. I think we should all go together because how many reporters in that room are going to ask the real questions, the questions we want? Do you think we should sit in the room and watch, because the media has actually been pretty good recently, and watch just the explosion? Chris Daniels. So what does this mean for the Sonics coming back? No, I'm just kidding. Chris Daniels, he's going to say, wait, let's do my best Chris Daniels impression. So you fired the mayor. So you fired the police chief. And now you have a new police chief. But we still don't have the suspect's information in the shooting. So where do we go now, Mayor Wilson? Is that about how it's going to go? Okay, all right. I don't have the inflection right, but it's going to be something like that, right? And then you're going to have Hannah Kim, who's just going to rip into her. I think I'm just going to bring popcorn. I think I should just bring popcorn for everybody. That's what we should do. I'll get a bunch of bags of microwavable popcorn. Me, my wife, Cho, Brandy, we'll all sit in the back just eating our popcorn. Just eating the popcorn, just watching this train wreck happen. I think this is going to be great. She's going to be a human piñata. She doesn't realize that she thinks she could put the blame of the response to the shooting on one man. Bob Ferguson has already sold her down the river by trying to make it seem like it was her office that delayed the press conference, and it likely was. It likely was because he was likely the one who was telling her to delay it so he could be there. We don't know that for sure, but this guy is overcompensating beyond belief to make you think that it wasn't him. Oh, I think this is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Human piñata. Absolutely human piñata is what it's going to be. Oh, it's going to be absolutely delicious. So much fun. What do you guys think? Should we bring the popcorn on down or should we do something else with this? This one here. This one from the 425. Katie Wilson absolutely 100% does not know what she is doing. Oh, wait, Greg from Everett says, it reminds me of when the mayor was lecturing Dirty Harry about police work. Yes! Good reference, Greg. I haven't seen that movie in forever. Haven't seen that. Oh, that was really, really good. Okay, we go to the KVI studio line. Take a call from, is that Paul? Paul and Puyallup? That's what we got here? Yeah, Paul and Puyallup. Paul, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Ari, this is just too hilarious.
Isn't it?
I thought it was wouldn't get any worse. Now it's even worser. That would be that,
you went to school to get them smarts, right? With the worser. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
There you go. So I want to know when Wee Willie Wonka or Wee Willie Winky is going to be the police chief, because they all wanted to fund the police.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. They wanted to fund the police, and until the police walk off the job and tell them to go take a long hike off a short pier, nothing is going to happen.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, hang on a second, Paul. I'm interrupting you for a second. That's like a tweet there. That's a tweet buried in all that. You know what it is? It's like whoever would have thought that the defund the police mayor wanted a new police chief so bad.
I know. It's like, this is too hilarious. I just don't understand this. And let me tell you, all these people out here that didn't vote again, this is on you.
Yep.
This is all on you.
Yep.
And I thank you very much for letting me know, all the judges out there, because C. Hawk, whoever that person is, whatever the first name is, that was just over the top.
There's
when
some
Bob
great
Ferguson
fun.
wants to have a hawk.
Yeah, there's some craziness in the voter guide. There's some craziness in the ads, which is why my voter's guide, thank you for the reminder, Paul. My voter's guide is up at kvi.com. That's kvi.com. Paul, it will be fun to watch. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Well, it's a crazy day in Seattle when Iran gets bumped to the second hour of the show. So are we going in full bore? Are we going to blow the whole country off the map? Plus some more developments regarding the end of our police chief here in Seattle. Give you all the details when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. You know, my friends, I didn't think the news could get any crazier today, just with police chiefs getting fired and mayors being turned into piñatas. But now we got some massive international news breaking right now you're going to be interested in. Give a listen.
Talk Radio 570 KVI. Breaking news on The Ari Hoffman Show.
Hamas has reportedly agreed to complete disarmament under the Gaza agreement. I saw this headline. I'm like, am I living in an alternate world? Because Hamas don't agree to anything like that. I wonder if things have finally gotten so bad for the terrorist organization that they're saying we want out. It's one of several things. One, they are either so defeated that they can't take it anymore because now even the UN has turned against them. Two, they finally come to their sense, yeah, I don't think it's that. Or three, they found a new champion. Before Hamas, there was the PLO. Before there's Fatah. There's all these different groups. There's all these different terrorist groups. I just wonder if the Palestinians have found themselves a new champion. According to Fox News, President Donald Trump on Thursday announced a historic agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and all other armed groups in Gaza. The diplomatic breakthrough was brokered by the Board of Peace and involved international mediators, including Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey. Quote, today the Board of Peace reached a historic agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and all other armed groups in Gaza. This is a monumental step towards lasting peace and security. Now, we do not have the details of this at all. We do not have the details. President Trump just announced this. Now, me personally, I think it'd be kind of fun, the original plan. Let's carve up the Gaza Strip. So all the people who are members of the Board of Peace, you take care of your section. So America will take care of its section, and it'll be like America. And France will take care of its section. It'll be, well, France, they're not part of this. They don't play in that world. They don't. But you know what? It's taken 4 years, and Hamas, assuming this is all accurate, is completely, that's it. They're done. Took a little while longer than it should have, but that was that. Because now the eyes of the world are on something else, and nobody cares about the Hamas terrorists anymore. They're not paying attention to it. You don't see the people marching on the college campuses anymore. Now, me personally, I don't believe Hamas. I don't trust Hamas. We'll see what's actually going on here. Plus, it's just a tweet at this point, or a truth, I should say. What is actually going on? I'm going to get the details on this during the next commercial break. Hopefully have them for you afterwards so I can figure out exactly what it is, because all I see right now is a truth from Trump. That's it. Now, we know that the IDF has still been conducting raids and taking out terrorist groups one by one by one by one. But if they finally woken up and realized that if the U.S. and the Emirates and Saudi Arabia all come in and redevelop the Gaza Strip, you're going to have hotels, you're going to have beachfront, all the stuff it was supposed to be in 2005 before the Palestinians voted Hamas into power. It can actually be the Riviera of the Middle East. It can actually be those kind of things. It actually can be. Are we seeing history happen in front of us? Do you believe it or not? You give me a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Because look, guys, this is historic if it's accurate. If it's accurate. We're going to follow this with great detail. Meanwhile, looks like things are heating up in Iran. More strikes going after Iran. President Trump saying we're basically going to bomb the you-know-what out of them. Here's Fox News reporting on it.
In the meantime, we're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it. But, they tried shooting it last night. So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour. And all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground. But they nevertheless took a shot, so it's our turn. And we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point, but we're going to hit them very hard.
This is the problem, is that our turn. No, it should just be we go in and finish the job. We go in and finish the job, and something else needs to happen. You're going into the midterms, but also this is having an impact on the economy. It's having an impact on the stock market. It's having an effect on inflation. It's having an effect on interest rates. Here's what you need to do. President Trump needs to have a press conference on the White House lawn, just like he did before COVID. And what he needs to do is I know, bad example, but that's what he needs to do. He needs to have a White House press conference, and he needs to have the heads of Chevron, BP, Exxon, Shell, 76, everybody. Have them out there. and make whatever deal it takes so that gas prices in the U.S. are not affected by what's going on in the Hormuz Strait. We are energy independent. I understand it's a global market, but we have more than enough to deal with this. We are the world's oil supplier right now. We have Venezuela. We should not be reliant on whatever's going on in the Strait of Hormuz affecting our gas prices, affecting our inflation, affecting our groceries and anything else. You bring them all out for a press conference. You make an announcement of what you're going to do to solve this so the stock market calms down and so the gas prices calm down. Put all that together, then you don't have a problem. That's what you need to do, because otherwise prices are going up on the eve of an election. Trump's going to get creamed, but also things are going to get more expensive for everybody. You need to have that presser, and you need to have it like yesterday. You need to do that right away. So you do that. You bring everybody in. You calm down the markets. You calm down the gas market. You calm down the oil markets. Calm down the stock markets. And then you have a chance moving forward. Then you have a chance. The other thing is get some allies. So the Strait of Hormuz, send in the Navy, send in the Coast Guard. Clean the thing up. We're in charge of it. And now that you have the Board of Peace working on Gaza, and that's working out okay, you say, hey, guys, time to pony up. You guys need the Strait of Hormuz more than we do. Who's going and taking Karg Island so we can cut the lifeblood off of the Iranians? Which one of you? UAE? Who else? Who else is going to go in there? Who's going to do it? Saudi Arabia? You go in there, you can have the oil. You can have the oil. We will do the air cover, but we don't want to do the boots on the ground. This is how you solve this. Or, think about this for a second, now that I'm processing all this in real time, is the fact that we have an agreement with Hamas, the first step towards the agreement with Iran. By that, not a peace agreement. By that, I mean the Board of Peace all coming together and saying, we're going to deal with the Strait of Hormuz together. You put together a coalition. You all go deal with it together. You deal with it here at home. That's a plan. I know the Trump administration is smarter than what I'm seeing right now. That's an actual plan. Somebody can give it to them for me. Maybe I'll email it tonight. But really, realistically, that's how you solve this problem. Speaking of problems, by the way, Bob Ferguson not going to get off the hook because of Katie Wilson's press conference tomorrow. Some new public disclosure documents reveal that Fergie's trying really, really hard to make it seem like he had nothing to do with delaying that press conference. We'll talk to somebody who got them when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Today's Newsmaker Spotlight brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, Western Washington windows and doors for every home. My friends, to give you a little peek behind the curtain, whenever you file a public disclosure request, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years. I literally got a FOIA request back 4 years after I filed it one time. And wouldn't you know, the news was no longer relevant. Getting one back a day later is odd. Getting one back a day later where there's basically one document, really, really odd. And it's at the center of a major controversy here in Washington. Joining us now on the KVI studio line, the man who filed that public disclosure request, investigative journalist for the Center Square, the one and only TJ Martinell. Thank you for being with us today.
All right, glad to be back on.
Good to have you. So tell us about this PDR that you filed regarding our governor and what you found out.
Yeah, so there was the whole, as you know, and most people know across the state and even the nation, there was that shooting on Sunday, and then there was a press conference that was delayed, and there was all sorts of controversies over why it was delayed. So on Monday, I filed a public records request with the governor's office thinking, we'll find out in like a month, what's the harm, filing it. Just curious to see what kind of conversations were going on. Well, I wake up Wednesday and I hear back from them saying, we found a responsive record. And I click on the link and I'm like, there's just one file. And I'm like, great. I'm not, whatever. And I open it up and it is a photo of Governor Bob Ferguson's cell phone with text messages sent to and from him from Mayor Katie Wilson about about the press conference.
Okay. And what did it say?
It was talking about when I think the part that struck me immediately was her saying we're likely to have a public conference. I'm like, likely? So not only was it delayed by 5 hours, they may not have even had one that night. So that was one thing. The other thing was Governor Ferguson saying he was going to be there at 9, and then he said, at like 10:13 or whatever, said, please call me. So it's just like, but it was just crazy. I've never gotten a public record request response back this quick. They have 5 days just to acknowledge it, let alone provide the documents. I've got ongoing requests with the governor's office on other records requests where it's been like 3 months.
Yeah.
So it just, and by the way, this is the first batch. The other batch will be available August 30th.
Okay. So
then we get to find out then what stuff, wasn't available in this batch.
Right. So here's something I find. They gave you one screenshot that says, we might be doing a press conference at 9. Now, I know that you and I are of contemporary age, right? We like to talk on the phone, not necessarily text. Bob Ferguson is older than me. So I assume that when somebody does something like that and you say, we are likely, that he probably picked up the phone right after that and said, wait, what do you mean likely? Because he's not a dummy. He's really, really not. That's normally where these conversations continue. But we don't know if he picked up the phone. We don't know about anything else. Sending you that one text, I saw all these other media outlets who filed for the same thing you got what you got, and then run with the story, it wasn't Bob Ferguson who delayed the press conference. I go, how do you know from this text?
That's the problem, is we don't know. And the fact that I got just this one text message and there's a whole bunch of batch of records that could come out at the end of next month, it's strange credulity to think that this was standard normal procedure, because for people who don't know, you can't prioritize one request over another. You got to treat them all the same. So when some requests are taking a month and others are taking 2 days to get it. And by the way, I've filed so many requests with Governor Ferguson's office when he was at State Attorney General, but also as governor. In the 3.5 years I've done that, I've gotten only 2 direct communications by him. One was an email about a lawyer who's getting their license suspended, and not in the Attorney General's office, but this is the second one. Like, we're talking 2 records. So, and also, this is produced in the middle of all this controversy that's going on. I think it's pretty. It would be hard. I think that's the question to be asked: is how did they get this record back so quickly?
Yeah, and I think there's more to it than that. We're talking with TJ Martinell, who's an investigative journalist for the Center Square. And something else about this, you think about a guy like Ferguson, who's very, very clever. Now, let me ask you this, and just in one word, how many times has the governor's office, just off the top of your head, actually responded to a request for comment that you asked them for?
I think this might have been the first one.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So we're in the same boat because they never respond to requests for anybody who's on who they think is against them, right? So what happens
Right.
was
And
I send a request for comment for his schedule. I got it back the next morning when that office opened. And then what's weirder, a day later, his office, which never talks to me, hey, Ari, we thought you might want some more context for what the governor was up to that day. And I'm like, shut up. What are you talking about? This doesn't happen. What's the game here?
Well, I think the thing is, I don't know who else filed the same request. I just think it was interesting that they produced it to me because, our news outlet has, been produced unfavorable coverage. We'll just say it that way. So nobody could claim that he was feeding it to friendly media. I think that was if this was a chess move, this was a pretty smart one because nobody can come to the governor and say, oh, you were just leaking it out to friendly media who'd run with it. He would just laugh and say, do you know who this news outlet is? Have you heard of these guys? Right? So it really just raises the question of, this kind of reminds me of that scene from the end of Maltese Falcon where they're all together in the same room and they're like, okay, who's going to be the fall guy? Right?
Yes. That's kind of what it feels like. Now, I can't ask a real journalist to speculate. That's my job. I'm a commentator, right? Okay, so I can't ask you to speculate. But in my opinion, methinks thou doth protest too much. Because the fact that they're providing all this information right away. Now, TJ, good job on this. What else have you asked people for? Anything from the mayor's office? Anybody else? Are you expecting anything back anytime soon? What are you working on?
I've got a lot of public records requests. I filed so many records requests. I think I hit a record this morning of the number filed before 9 o'clock in the morning with the city of Seattle, the Seattle Police Department, and the governor's office. So this story's not going away, contrary to any hopes and dreams that some elected officials might wish. This is not being dropped, and we're going to continue to cover it because I think that this whole fiasco has really underlined systemic issues that have been going on at the, not just the local level, but also at the state level. So there's a lot more to this. And I think people understand that. And I think that the governor understands it. And that's why they've been responsive to this stuff, because they understand that it's a PR nightmare that they need to put out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that whatever's going on when we talk about delay by dignitaries, which is what we in the media were told at the time when we were out there at the shooting site the night it happened, that's not a word that people usually use. Usually it's VIPs, or we're waiting on the governor, or we're waiting on a congressman, or we're waiting on whatever it is, right? And that's all we got. We got this dignitaries thing. We really want to know who did this. We really want to know who delayed the flow of information, especially when there was a shooter, possibly two, on the loose. TJ Martinell, you're going to have to compete with me for some of those PDRs because I filed a whole bunch of them last night. We'll see who gets them back first. Okay, buddy?
All right. Sounds good.
All right. TJ Martinell, investigative journalist for the Center Square. Check out the Center Square for all your latest breaking news. We got a whole lot more to discuss as the show continues. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show. Today is a special day, not just because we got rid of our police chief, and tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun with that press conference with the mayor, but because today we are raising money and miles for our friends over at the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's going to be great because we're going to be able to send all these kids on trips with your help. Now, you can head on over to kvi.com, and you can click where it says Make-A-Wish, or Wishes in Flight. You click right there and you can donate, or you call the number 206-404-4444. That's 206-404-4444. Joining us now to discuss on the KVI studio line is going to be, right here we have Janet Tarsha, who's the VP. Trina, got the wrong one today. Trina Cunningham, CEO of Make-A-Wish Foundation, Alaska and Washington. Thank you for joining us today, Trina.
Of course, I'm almost as good as Jeanette, but you got me instead.
Yeah, this is the problem when I just get handed a sheet of paper, but don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay, so Trina, let's talk about the best wish you have ever seen happen for a kid.
Oh my gosh. It's such a hard question, but I have to say one of my favorites, many years ago now, we had a kiddo named Carl, and he wished, I kid you not, to be a World War II fighter pilot who was shot down in Hawaii on a deserted island and had to survive on the rations that only a World War II pilot would have had at the time. And we did the
Wait a second. I got to stop you. I want to hear all about this. I'm fascinated. One of your colleagues joined us earlier, but the kid wanted the rations? He didn't want to be like shooting down Japanese planes and German planes. He wanted to be the survival kid?
Yes. And the thing that's it was a cool wish. We actually worked with our sister chapter in Hawaii, and it was the first time that all 4 branches of the military worked together on a wish. So it was really cool. And they actually gave him rations, and he was not so thrilled with them. And one of the Navy SEALs said, you know what? I just commissioned some approved pizza rations that we could have instead. And so he did have rations. And then when he realized how bad they were, he went for the pizza.
Yeah, I'd go for the pizza also. Okay. I mean, we know the rations are pretty terrible. We all know this. But did he want to be fighting behind enemy lines, or he just wanted to be shot down and survive behind enemy lines?
Right. He just wanted to be shot down and survive. He wanted to be a World War II fighter pilot who was shot down.
Okay, I have questions.
Survive.
I have many questions.
I do too.
Okay.
So it was a fabulous wish.
Did he parachute out of a plane here, or did you crash a plane? What are we talking about here?
No. We did it with the military, and they did like a flight in the plane with a very challenging landing, and then, they were marooned on a beautiful beach in Hawaii. But,
Yes, marooned on Hawaii. I understand. Yes, a very rough life. Yes.
It is. It's rough. But, we're Make-A-Wish. We make it happen, but we also make it safe.
Okay. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm obsessed with this wish. Like I said, your colleague before teased this one. So the kid is flying in a plane, challenging landing. How does he get rescued? You send in a Huey for him? I mean, it's not the right time period. How did he get, or did he just walk to the resort? How does this work here?
The Navy SEALs were with him, and the Navy SEAL swimmers rescued them. It was a lot of very fabulous behind the scenes military coordination and planning, as only the military can do. And they got him from the landing strip to the beach in like a boat, and the Navy SEALs. It was a whole thing. I'm probably selling it very short because seriously, it was incredible.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think you're selling it short at all. I have questions. I'm an adult, and I have questions. I mean, I don't want to get shot down behind enemy lines. I did a fighter pilot experience one time, and you go shooting, quote unquote, the other plane.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm kind of obsessed with this. Okay, second craziest wish you have ever done for a kid.
Oh, man, you know what? Maybe not. I'd say, okay, one of my other most favorite wishes, totally opposite. We had a kid who wished for a ferret with clothes. And I loved that wish so much because I didn't even know that you could get clothes for ferrets, and you sure can. And she was it's such a simple and wonderful wish to have a pet, right? Something that you love and take care of, and a ferret with clothes, right? So amazing.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So tell me this. I assume you're the person to ask. You're the CEO. Is John Cena still a regular guest, or has some other celebrity eclipsed him at this point?
He is still world #1 top wish granter of all time for Make-A-Wish as a whole. And in fact, he did a really great interview recently with Pete, someone, a former SNL comedian. I'm blanking on
Pete
his
Davidson.
name. Pete
Davidson.
Pete Davidson, yes.
The,
He did this
the skinny guy who was the
amazing
voice of
interview.
the car in Transformers.
Yes.
Yes.
And he did this amazing interview where he talked about his experience with Make-A-Wish. And it was, you could tell for him, it's really humbling and important. And if you or your listeners want to find that on the internet, it's just Google,
Wait a second. Pete Davidson was the sincere one, or John Cena was the sincere one?
John Cena. But actually, Pete talked about the one wish that he's granted. And they actually had this really impactful conversation, the two of them, about the experience of doing a Make-A-Wish and what that's like from the celebrity side. And I watched it and I got teared up. And I've been doing this for 27 years. It was pretty amazing.
So then I might be able to help you out with a little bit more here, make this a little bit more emotional for you. I'm not the biggest Pete Davidson fan. I don't really like his humor or comedy or politics or anything. But his father was a firefighter on 9/11. He lost his father on 9/11. So this must be like a whole nother level for him of helping out some kid, who's down on his luck at the time.
Yeah, and he actually talks about that. He didn't talk about how he lost his dad, but he mentions losing his dad. So that's interesting kind of insight behind that too, because it was really a very cool interview.
Gotcha.
Surprisingly.
It sounds like, now I kind of want to go watch it.
You have to, because if you love John Cena, you will love him even more.
Okay, so I'm not that big of a John Cena fan, but he's been in a couple of the Fast and Furious movies, and I'm okay. Does Vin Diesel do these things? Have you worked with Vin Diesel?
We have not had a kiddo wish to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's done great wishes too, but no one can hold a candle to John Cena.
Well, especially now that he's in the Fast and Furious movies. What can't that man do?
Right.
He's in everything now. Okay, so Trina, tell us this. You guys are looking to raise 10 million miles right now. I know you don't have the totals in front of you, but tell us about this match program we have.
Oh my gosh. Right now, our wonderful community partners, Alaska Airlines, we love them at Make-A-Wish. They are matching miles that we raise between 4 and 5. So I'm not sure what time it is right now, but you have a few more minutes maybe to call in, click on the website.
3 minutes and 32 seconds. Yes.
You can do it. You can do it.
Okay.
But even if you do it after that time, the miles count, the miles matter. They really are what make it possible for us to grant wishes right now for kids who are waiting, who want to travel somewhere. And I just can't stress that enough. The generosity of this community is just so inspiring and so incredible.
Well, I really appreciate you joining us, and I want to make sure that everybody knows how they can donate after hearing about the amazing stuff you guys do. So head on over to kvi.com right now. You're going to see the Wishes in Flight right in front of you when you land on that page, and my voter's guide, but we're not doing politics with this right now. But right there in front of it, you click Wishes in Flight. It's right there. Or you can call 206-404-4444. That's 206-404-4444, so that you can make sure a kid can get shot down behind enemy lines. Wait, that's not right. So that you can make sure that there is a wish for a deserving child out there who just wants to make the best of a bad situation they're in right now. You can help them out. So go to kvi.com or call 206-404-4444. You have less than 3 minutes left for the matching program, monies or miles, thanks to our friends over at Alaska Airlines. Trina Cunningham, really appreciate you joining us today.
And thank you. We love our partnership with you guys so much. It's a long time, and we just are very thankful.
That's so kind of you to say. Trina Cunningham, CEO of Make-A-Wish Alaska and Washington. Keep up the amazing work. We really appreciate you joining us today. When we come back, my friends, Katie Wilson has issued a video statement. And where's my popcorn? I need popcorn. I'm going to make popcorn. I got a couple minutes to make popcorn. We'll have that for you when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show's final hour free for all. Your calls, your texts, your thoughts, your stories, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. If you want to be part of the most dangerous show on the airwaves, call or text the KVI studio line at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Coming up this hour, it's official. Seattle Police Chief is out. Katie Wilson has released a video. Can't wait to watch the words of wisdom we're going to get from our socialist Mayor Fivehead. But before we get to that, we are raising money for a good cause today. We are raising money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Well, how do these wishes actually get granted? Our friend Brian Calvert from Northwest News Radio has a little feature for us here about how these things happen.
This is Brian Calvert, and today we're collecting your unused air miles for Make-A-Wish so that they can grant even more wishes to local kids. I want to introduce you to a couple of guys who just might have the best gig on the planet. For years now, Ken Kiefer and Lou Cutler have volunteered to help grant wishes.
And at the time, I was managing a delivery service, and I stopped by the office to offer free and reduced rate deliveries, and we talked a little bit, and the marketing manager said, well, it sounds like you want to do more than just do free deliveries.
Yeah, Lou was hooked. Ken was as well.
So I started in August of 1997, and I will never stop.
It's kind of like being an elf in you-know-who's workshop, only these wishes involve trips and even fulfilling the dream to become a superhero.
Electron Boy was a wish who wanted to be a superhero, and it started off with a car, DeLorean car coming over and saying the Seattle Sounders are locked in their locker room and we need somebody to go free them. They drove over with a police escort and he did his thing and the Sounders come out. My experience in seeing Wish families afterwards at Mary Bridge or Children's or at the drugstore or wherever, or wearing a shirt. When I travel a lot, I always wear a Make-A-Wish shirt. And people always smile, and sometimes it's one of your families that you've helped.
It's a lot of work, but the work produces a lot of good. What inspires them to work so hard granting these wishes? Ken remembers a note his mother placed inside his lunchbox back in the 3rd grade.
And it was long, but basically it said, do all the good you can in all the ways you can, as long as ever you can.
Okay, my friends, so if you want to help out today, here's what you do. You go to givemymiles.com, you go to kvi.com, you click on Wishes in Flight, or you call 206-404-4444. That's 206-404-4444 to help out these kids. We can do it, guys. Last year, when I set a goal, and I said we're going to reach this much, KVI Nation showed up, and we exceeded that goal by leaps and bounds. Now, in the 3 o'clock hour today, they told us that they wanted to hit 10 million, and they were already at like 8.5 million. We're going to check in later in the show and find out where we're at, but I think you guys can help us get there. So if you have unused miles, if you have a few extra bucks, I know times are tough, but imagine what it's like for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You head on over to givemymiles.com or call 206-404-4444 for your chance to help out these kids. Give a few miles, give a few bucks. We go to the KVI studio line, take a call from Corey in Bellevue. Corey, what's going on, man?
Hey, Ari, I respect you a lot, but you are wrong on Iran.
Okay, what do you think we should do instead?
I think that we need to seize Karg Island, and the only way to do it is to send our Marines and our Army personnel. Amphibiosity is a thing that our Arab allies cannot do and cannot be trained to do against any form of resistance. It's not like Saving Private Ryan. They're not going to be going across the beach. It's a vertical envelopment. They'll be coming in by helicopters and Ospreys. The follow-on waves will come across the water to bring in the heavy equipment. But it's the skill set that is uniquely the Americans. The British have lost it. The Dutch and the French can do it to a very, very small degree, a battalion or so. Only the United States has the power and the know-how to conduct this. And truthfully, we have not done a major operation like this since Incheon back in 1950. We should do it to preserve that knowledge in modern warfare. Now, we've done some small landings in Vietnam, and in Grenada we landed a couple of battalions, take that out, and we've done it in Lebanon. But we've not really gone against a major near-peer force landing it as an amphibious operation. That's not the sort of thing that anyone's going to pick up quick. It's why the communist Chinese aren't prepared to go into Taiwan.
So then,
we need to go and do it because we need Karg Island to force Iran to capitulate.
No, I got you. Okay, so here's the thing. The second you put American boots on the ground, this takes on a whole nother level. Then you lose the right and the left. Let me ask you this. What about the Israelis? They don't actually have gas in their country. They have natural gas, but they don't have that kind of oil in their country. Maybe they want some refineries. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't mind bringing Israelis or even some of the Arabs, but they're only going as a token force. They don't have the amphibious warfare vessels. They don't have the number of helicopters or Ospreys or other aircraft to make the operation, and they don't have the training experience to do it. This is a sort of operation that really takes a lot of skill, and if you've not practiced it, it's a disaster. The British got desperate, and they sent some of their guards battalions, which are great troops for fighting in Europe in mechanized warfare. They took horrendous losses, and the Sir Galahad and the Sir Percival were hit down in the Falklands because they didn't clear the landing ships before dawn. There's just so many skill sets that go in. I went to amphibious warfare school.
I can tell.
When I was
I was going to say, I can tell.
Yeah.
You know, I love that about our audience. I love this about our audience that they call in with this kind of stuff. How long does it take to train somebody to do this?
It takes years to train the staff. You can train the soldiers how to do it in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the problem. It's the coordination of the types of fires that you need to support a vertical envelopment going in and to coordinate the actions of the various units to do this. It's much more complex than mechanized warfare because of the nature of how you're attacking and what's going in. Now, the Arabs and the Israelis could come in as the occupation force.
Right.
We kick in the door. We seize the objective. We get a good, 50% of the oil as long as we're occupying it. And then we have our Arab allies occupy it because it would be in their interest. I believe they could hold Karg Island against the Iranians, a little bit of our special forces, because it's in their interest to do so.
So,
they just
Corey,
lack the capabilities.
Yeah, you've given me a lot to think about. I got some reading to do tonight. It doesn't compare to your knowledge, but I got some reading to do tonight. Let me see if I can dig into this a little bit more. And if you want to send me anything, ARI@kvi.com.
Okay, I'm going to send you a book you should read by the admiral who conducted the Falklands operation, Operation Corporate.
Yeah.
It talks a lot about the nature of amphibious warfare and why there were problems and why the British could do what they could do only then.
Cool. I'm all for it. Thank you. I appreciate that, Corey. I'm open to new ideas. I like getting myself educated. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate that,
I want to
Corey.
win.
Yeah, I want to win,
I want
too.
us to win there, and we need to force Iran to capitulate.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Corey, and that's how you do it. You take away the lifeblood of their economy, whatever's left of it. Corey, thank you for the expertise. Thank you for being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. I may be open to learning new things, but you know who's not? Katie Wilson. Oh, Katie Wilson, Mayor Fivehead, having a bad day, a real bad day. She assumed all us would be also excited about the fact that they fired the police chief, Sean Barnes, who's an incompetent boob. And yeah, I am happy about that. But it doesn't change the fact that he's the fall guy for her incompetence. He wasn't even here for that disastrous first press conference, which you delayed for 5 hours. Yeah. Should he have been here? Yeah. Should he not have been living in Chicago? Yeah. Could he have been a better police chief? Absolutely. But you were looking for a fall guy. Now, mind you, the only reason he came up as a fall guy is because in the press conferences, he seemed just as inept as you. We can't recall you. You haven't done anything illegal, and that's a whole process. But my friends, I will tell you this, okay? That if he had seemed competent, then you know what? You wouldn't be having these problems. Everybody would say, oh, great, we're stuck with this idiot mayor. Recall. But unfortunately, the police chief, after yelling at reporters and admitting he didn't live here, et cetera, he was the easy scapegoat. He was the easy target. Katie Wilson released this video just a few moments ago. Let's hear her wise words.
Through our review, I have learned that there was a miscommunication between departments that resulted in no alert going out when it would have been a good tool to use. I also want to name that there was...
Stop. You're full of it. Oh, look at that. I'm not even watching the video. This is the first time I've heard it. You're full of it. I'm going to tell you why you're full of it. Hey, Katie Wilson, do you live in Seattle? Yes. Hey, Katie Wilson, do you have a phone? Yes. Hey, Katie Wilson, did your phone ever buzz with the emergency alert system? No. You knew the thing didn't go out. Did any of your staff think to themselves, hey, that emergency alert we said should go out. Also, there's something else. At the press conference, at the press conference where they brought up the emergency alert system. How come it didn't go out? She didn't know what it was. She didn't know what it was. So I don't believe you. What other lies do you have to tell us here?
Communication between SPD and my office about the timing of a press conference late in the evening between 9:45 and 10:45 p.m. What I did not fully understand in that moment was how little information had reached the public or the press since the incident began at 6 p.m. Had I known that, I would have pushed for an immediate briefing rather than waiting for a press conference to be organized.
Why didn't you know? I'm very serious. Why didn't you know? Anybody here ever seen an action movie? Anybody here ever see a disaster movie? What are the people in the command center always surrounded by? TVs. What are they always surrounded by? TVs, so they can know the information that's coming in. They're also getting reports. They're also getting updates. Here's something else. I must have spammed their office with 30 requests for comment, and I'm sure everybody else in the media did it too. Who's your Oh, right. Your communications director quit on you. Communications director quit on you. So because your communications director quit on you, you don't have anybody fielding all that. Well, you have the 2 understudies, and if you have the 2 understudies there, then they can do it, right? You've got 2 people there running the comms office. Aren't they coming in and going, Mayor Wilson, we're getting a ton of things. The media needs information. I don't believe you. Unless this is a Joe Biden situation. Unless this is such a bad situation where Katie Wilson is not running anything. 5 hours went by and nobody knew what was going on. Every media outlet in town was banging on her door. How do I know? Okay, little scenes behind the curtain. I was one of the first reporters on scene for the press conference. Everybody was coming from somewhere else because it was a Sunday. I was coming from Grays Harbor. The press conference, I found out that it was going to be basically at the entrance to the MoPop. That's the Museum of Pop Culture, right at Seattle Center. I got there. Our friends from Northwest News Radio were already there. Jeremy Harris from Como was already there. And a couple of other people were already there. The crowd was growing and growing while I got there. And I had asked, Jonathan Cho was there too. And I asked Jonathan Cho where it was. He told me the address. I got over there as fast as I can, and I was still there. The crowd was getting more and more massive, but while we're all standing there, Jeremy would say to the police public relations guy, hey, I've reached out for comment for this. I've reached out for comment for that. Nobody's getting back to me. There's video of it. There's literally video of it. Where he's saying we haven't gotten the information at all. There's right here, got the video for you. This is what was happening that night.
We are almost 5 hours. I'm not mad at you. I am mad at the dignitaries that are holding up a press conference for the public to get information about a mass shooting outside of the Space Center. It is outrageous that we are being told to wait for dignitaries.
So what I'll do is I'll go back here and we'll get everybody down. We'll get somebody to talk to you guys. I do understand, like I said, you guys have been out for a while. I've been out for a while.
It's not us, it's the public that needs to know.
And we want to get the information to everybody. So, okay? All right.
Do we have a timeline on when these supposed dignitaries are supposed to be there?
Let's just, what I'll do is let's just get who's here. Let's get them down here.
That's
you guys.
And
then what we'll do is, as those dignitaries come, then we'll have them come.
But we need to put these first, please.
Who are these so-called dignitaries?
They'll be here in a minute.
Thank you, Brian.
Who are dignitaries?
So we're being told they're holding for dignitaries?
We're holding for dignitaries.
Holding for dignitaries. For sure, that's Katie Wilson's office saying, Bob Ferguson told me not to have the press conference without him. Pramila Jayapal told me not to have the press conference without them. I think more likely, it's Bob Ferguson. You want to know why I think it's more likely it's Bob Ferguson? Because he's been the one who's been emailing the press unsolicited. Here's where the governor was, and he was here. Oh, and if you didn't get this information, here it is. As I've been talking about all week, the governor's office hates my guts. They hate my every fiber of my being. I'm aware of this. Why do you think the governor's office hates me? Why do you think Governor Bob Ferguson's office hates me?
Yeah, it's not my name. All right, Turd Ferguson.
Bob Ferguson was walking in a parade when he was running for office. And somebody sent me a video of this. I wish I had it. I wish I had saved it. I don't know what I do with it. They sent me a video, and Bob Ferguson's walking down the street, and you hear a spectator in the crowd go, "Hey, look, it's Turd Ferguson." And he definitely heard it. He definitely reacted to it. His office hates me. They have never, ever, ever responded to requests for comment. Bob Ferguson wants to control the messaging so much he has consolidated every state department inside his communications office. Nothing goes out without him. Nothing goes out without his say-so. They never get back to me on anything. They don't get back to anybody who they disagree with on anything. And then I email them about a schedule for the day, expecting to get nothing back. Boom! Like grease lightning, that sucker was in my inbox. And then a couple days later, even though I didn't even ask for it, "Hi, Ari, we know you're interested in the scheduling. Let's give you a more detailed version of it." Then our friend TJ Marnell, who we spoke to at 4:30, TJ Marnell files a public disclosure request to get all the communications between the governor and the mayor. And those things take months, sometimes years. He gets it back the next day with one text that just shows Governor Bob Ferguson said he would be there by 9. And then that's it. We don't know if he called afterward, so it doesn't really prove anything. But Bob Ferguson, me think thou doth protest too much. Because he's really trying to make it prove it was Katie Wilson. So now Katie Wilson has been abandoned. Pramila Jayapal issued something similar to Bob Ferguson. Bob Ferguson keeps telling everybody, not me, not me. And by the way, the entire media picked up TJ's story about the text. They all picked up his story. And they're all like, see, governor was coordinating. It wasn't him. It was Katie Wilson. Why is Katie all alone? No friends, no friends. Why is Katie? See, this is the problem. She doesn't talk to the city council. She thinks she can do everything with her activist band of morons. She's completely unqualified for the job. Bob Ferguson and Pramila Jayapal, you notice, weren't there the day after for the press conference. They're like, we don't want to be part of this S show. Get us out of here. We don't want to be part of this at all. So, this is now Katie Wilson's mess. By firing Sean Barnes, who deserved to be fired, she's now the only pincushion we have left. And she's calling a press conference for tomorrow to introduce us to the new chief. You think anybody's going to have questions for the new chief? Okay, let me do the questions right now. First question that gets asked by an Ari Hoffman, who will be there tomorrow. First question that gets asked, excuse me, Mayor Wilson, did you offer Chief Barnes a golden parachute? And if so, how much? How much of our tax dollars did you spend? What's the first question for the new chief? Come on, guys, we can play this game together. What's the first question for the new chief? Do you have a description of the suspect? Do you have a description of the suspect who's been on the loose for 5 days now? Do you have a description of the suspect? Are there 2 suspects? Do you have a description? See, they're hoping everybody's going to be like, tell us about your life. Tell us about your hopes. Tell us about your dreams. Tell us about the new mayor hiring process, because now Katie Wilson gets to pick the new police chief, and that's going to be another bleep show. I got right here on the text line. I got Marino's asking me, hi, Ari, so do you think this latest incident with Mayor Wilson is the beginning of the end for her and her forehead? Could there be a successful recall? Here's the problem with the recall. We learned this with Kshama Sawant. You need them to do like 5 illegal things. You throw the 5 illegal things out there, and then maybe a judge who has to sign off on it accepts one of them. With Kshama Sawant, there were 5, and I think the judge was on board with 3 of them. I think they even rejected the one where Kshama Sawant led everybody to the mayor's house. Jenny Durkin's house was a protected address. She led her merry band of lunatics over there, and they vandalized it. I think they even rejected that one. I think we've got dereliction of duty. I think we've got gross negligence. But being a moron isn't illegal. Otherwise, there's a lot of people we could lock up around here. So, no, I don't think we have enough for a recall yet, especially given the stringent restrictions that we have here in in Seattle. I don't think we have it yet. I don't. I wish we did. I don't think we do. Up next, my friends, your calls and your texts. A lot of you want to chime in on this. Also, how one of the owners of the Storm is now suspended for 5 games. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show. Just an update for everybody, because I know a lot of you are contributing to Wishes in Flight. We're now at over 9 million miles, on our way over to 10. And for the rest of this hour, there is another match in place, thanks to our friends over at Alaska Airlines. So if you can give to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, if you can give the miles, if you can give the money, we'd really, really appreciate it. You can call 206-404-4444. Oh, did I forget to mention occasionally there's a celebrity guest who answers the phone? So if you call 206-404-4444, you don't know who you might get on the other end. The other thing you can do is givemymiles.com. You can go to givemymiles.com or go to kvi.com. And over at kvi.com, you got a link for everything right there, and you can give the money, and you'll be all set. We go to the KVI studio line. Take a call from our friend Transit Joe. Transit Joe, what's up?
What's up is earlier today I emailed Seattle Council President Joey Hollingsworth as well as Councilmember Rivera with the same message. It is time for the council to vote no confidence in this mayor and have her removed. The way that that guy Snell, I forget his name, he's such a loser. Excuse me, and Bruce Harrell was mayor the first time. And that's what I think we should do here, because this and remember, I'm Transit Joe, okay? We've had 8 months of incompetence here, a mayor who cannot condemn anti-Semitism, a mayor who cannot manage the police department, a mayor who cannot manage their own communications. I don't think the budget session is going to go that well. What do you think?
Well, the problem, I think the budget session is going to be a colossal disaster, because they're not going to give her anything she wants. They're just not. But the problem is, in order to get rid of the mayor, I think with Ed Murray, did they actually vote to remove him, or did he resign in disgrace?
I think Ed Murray was kind of pushed out by the entire political class because there were allegations of child abuse that came out.
Right, and remember, he was like best friends with Jamie Peterson, who's the current Senate Majority Leader out there in Olympia, who passes all the crazy stuff against kids. The council can't simply vote to remove a mayor because they disagree with the mayor's policies or think the mayor is doing a bad job. I think what has to happen is there has to be a hearing with let me see, hang on, I'm pulling up the city charter right now. Under the Seattle City Charter, the City Council has the power to remove or impeach the mayor in limited circumstances. It is not a political vote of no confidence. Instead, it's a quasi-judicial proceeding. So after a hearing, then there's written notice from the City Council of at least 5 days before the hearing for willful violation of duty or the commission of an offense involving moral turpitude. So that's how they could have gotten rid of Ed Murray. But willful violation, it's not willful. She's trying her best. She's just a moron. I don't know if you could actually do that here, Joe.
Yeah, it's worth trying. You know, I mean, I'm just tired of this man. I mean, you know, frankly, I think you do a better job as Seattle mayor than this guy.
Well, I mean, here's my plan. My problem with that is, Joe, and you'd be very, very mad at me. You know, one of my first things I would do, the very first thing I would do is call for an audit of Homeless Inc. That is the very first thing I would do. Okay? I know you're excited about that, Joe, but then you're not going to like the next thing. Okay? The next thing is going to be a pause on all funding to Sound Transit until they can prove they are fiscally responsible.
I think that could be negotiated.
There's nothing to negotiate. That would be what I would do. There's no negotiation. It would be, okay, if you guys want the funding, I'm not opposed to giving you the funding, but you got to show you're fiscally responsible or you're not getting any more of this money.
I'm all for pushing them to be more fiscally responsible.
Okay, there we go. Appreciate the call, Joe. Appreciate you being part of the show.
Yeah.
You want to be part of the show, give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. We go back to the KVI studio line, take a call from Paul in Federal Way. Paul, what's up, man? Hello, Paul. Paul, are you there? Paul going once. Paul going twice. Paul, if you can't hear me, maybe you're on mute. You give us a call back. We'll give it another shot at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. I got to say, the information about Katie Wilson, she is now the punching bag. I am getting statements from city council members. We are getting statements from a lot of people that they are all furious at Katie Wilson. Absolutely furious at her. I'm not sure she survives this. I'm not sure. Here's a statement that went out from the city council members. Today, City Council President Joy Hollingsworth, Councilmember Dan Strauss, Councilmember Deborah Juarez, all right, she's nobody to call anybody out, and Councilmember Bob Kettle released a statement. Our city faces profound public safety challenges from youth gun violence, destroying lives, to drug markets and human trafficking plaguing our neighborhoods. Timeout. Why aren't you doing anything about it then? Why aren't you doing anything about it? After the Seattle Center shooting, our focus should be on the lives lost, how we can address gun violence in our city. Tackling these crises, creating a safer Seattle, requires strong, stable leadership. When communities are grieving, major decisions should be made with great deliberation. Making a significant leadership change in this moment puts our city in a precarious position. Having cycled through 4 police chiefs in just 2.5 years, our priority must be stability, not further disruption. People of Seattle deserve reliable leadership. Well, to be fair, you guys hired a bunch of boobs. You guys did. And then some of them, you guys managed to screw them up. So, for example, Carmen Best, the Seattle police officers wanted her. The population wanted her. And then you destroyed her. By that, I mean, Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkin and Carmen Best were behind the decision to abandon the East Precinct. They were behind that decision together. I know Carmen Best gets excused from that, but Carmen Best could have quit right then and there and said, I am not abandoning a police station, and gone to the media. Instead, she went along with it. Sorry, guys. So some of these, you destroyed these police chiefs yourselves. I mean, the Diaz thing, that's a whole nother mess or whatever else was going on there. But you guys destroyed yourselves. You guys destroyed yourselves. A lot of this is bad leadership at the city level. All of this, an absolute mess. It's just because they keep electing whoever's the farthest left moron to run our city, and things just keep getting worse. We go back to the KVI studio line. Try again with Paul from Federal Way. Paul, what's up?
Hi, Ari. Regarding the truck driver and the illegal truck drivers and those who don't speak English, I'm just curious, what do you think's going on with these companies that hire these people? I mean, considering that one of the requirements, assuming they have a CDL, is that they speak the English language. And what about the company that hires them knowing that they don't? What about the testing facilities that test them?
Okay, let me stop you right there, Paul. Let me stop you right there because I'm going to explain it to you. So multiple testing facilities have been shut down up and down the West Coast for issuing these licenses to people who couldn't pass the test. So there are fact farms, for lack of a better word, of these testing centers that just you give them enough money and they'll do it. And they've been getting shut down one at a time. Here's something else. Have you ever shipped a car before?
No.
Okay.
Yes, I have, actually.
You have. What year was that in?
Oh, that was back in like 1984 from England to New York.
Okay, so let me tell you about this. This is why I bring it up. I had to ship a car a couple of years ago. And I went on one of these websites, shipyourcar.com or whatever it is that's called. And what happens is you start getting all these bids from all these truckers. And what you very quickly find out is that they're just solo operators. And you're trusting your car or your cargo or your shipment to a solo operator because you're trying to save money, right? You don't want to hire one of the big boys. You're trying to save money. So you go online and you do this. And then you find out some of these guys are solo and some of these guys are really, really sketchy. So you can't really do it with the reviews. The reviews are made up. It's a sketchy, sketchy business. So one of the truckers that was in one of the really bad accidents here in Washington, I looked up his address. It's a Mexican restaurant, which means probably some member of his family owns that restaurant. He gets his mail at that restaurant, and that's where his company is because his company is his truck. You notice that a lot of times when these guys get in these horrible accidents, they're trying to remove the name from the side of the truck, which has all the numbers and stuff on it. They're solo operators, and the business is the truck itself. So that's how bad this is. That's how bad it's become. Great question, Paul. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Up next, my friends, major win as one of the owners of the Storm is suspended. We'll tell you why when we come back. You're listening to The Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show. Just a reminder, my friends, we are raising miles today for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We're getting really close to our goal, but we only have until 6 p.m. to pass that 10 million mile mark. So if you could help us out by giving a call to 206-404-4444 or go to givemymiles.com. That's givemymiles.com. You could do it through kvi.com as well. We would really, really appreciate it. One of the people from the Make-A-Wish Foundation will be joining us in the next segment to tell us how we did. So we've been following another story aside from what's been going on with the Seattle police chief the last couple of days. Our friend Brandy Cruz heard that Sophie Cunningham was coming to town with the Indiana Fever to play the Storm. These are two WNBA teams. And it's amazing to me that you have Caitlin Clark, who is a star and is helping the WNBA finally increase its attendance and finally increase its revenue. She's getting the crap kicked out of her, and yet they're not doing anything about it. And actually, Kevin, I think it's by design. Is anybody going to watch it if it's just straight up basketball? So if you keep letting these videos go viral, people will tune in for the next game to see if she's going to get the crap kicked out of her. I mean, look, they don't like her because she's straight. They don't like her because she's white. So maybe they're enjoying this. That's number one. Number two is they have Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham has kind of become the defender for Caitlin Clark. But on top of that, she's a good-looking gal. And because of that, people are watching a little bit more. But then she's got these viral moments that keep happening. And then the other day, she stands up for women's sports, and everybody goes, oh, that's awesome. You mean somebody in the WNBA is actually standing up for women's sports? Shouldn't that be all of them? Yeah, no. The WNBA has decided that its target market is lesbians and trans people. That's it. That is their target market. And the problem is there ain't that many lesbians in the country. I know it seems like there's a lot here in Washington, especially in Seattle. There ain't that many trans people in the country. But sure, it seems like that. They have decided that's their target market. Let's take a guy like me for a second. I love sports. I love sports. Sports. I love sports. I take my kids to baseball all the time because I like baseball. When the Sonics were here, I would go to the Sonics games. I'm not the biggest basketball guy, but I would go to the Sonics. I go to the Seahawks. I go to at least 2 or 3 games a year. I go to at least 2 or 3 Kraken games a year. I like sports. Dads would take their kids. Dads would take their kids if you weren't getting all this woke garbage shoved down their throats every time you go to a game. Let's take the NBA for a second. Kevin, when did the NBA start getting really, really big and really, really successful? When they got Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. That's about the time. And then you get Superstar, you get Jordan, you get Charles Barkley, you get all these other guys. And now you've got these superstars and people want to watch it. Well, now Caitlin Clark drawing an audience. Sophie Cunningham drawing an audience. So you should be encouraging that, right? So Brandy Cruz gets these courtside seats for a couple of the girls who have had to deal with boys and girls sports, specifically our friend Annalie Wilson and a couple of others. Annalie has been on the show before. She lost out because of a male competitor. She's one of the girls who's spokespeople behind the initiative to keep boys out of girls sports. And they had the gear on from XXXY. Our friend Jennifer Say, she's got this company, which is about boys sports, boys apparel, girls sports, girl apparel. They make some great stuff over there. And they're wearing the shirts and they have signs talking about how much they love Sophie Cunningham. And they're sitting on the court. They were berated, not just by other fans, by some of the Storm, some of the players as well. Absolutely berated. But then the worst part was when the owner of the Storm walked up to them, but they didn't know she was the owner at the time. This is an interview Brandy did with the girls right after the game.
Tell me what happened when this woman approached you.
Well, we were just sitting there with our signs that said, like, we love Sophie, like, thank you, Sophie, for speaking up. And so we were holding them, just watching the game. Again, like, we were being super great. We hadn't said anything to anyone else. We were being super respectful. We were just holding our signs and cheering for both teams. Mm-hmm. And this lady, older lady, comes up to us. And she comes up to us, and at first I think she's going to be nice. And then she asks, like, what are you guys doing? Or something like that. And then it was like, Jesus loves everyone. That's what she told us. And I was like, oh, I know. Like, I'm religious. Like, I know. Like, I know. Nice. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I hope Jesus can forgive you for what sin you've done. And, like, something like that. And then she told us that we were effing insane. And that we
and she's like, and she went like this.
Insane. Yeah.
She's like, you better stop this.
And stop pulling. Yeah.
And
for you guys
I
to
hope
come
God
here
can
and
save
pull
you.
This. Yeah.
She said, for you to come here and pull this.
Yeah.
She said the word?
Yep.
Did she say effing insane or?
Oh, she said the word, yeah.
Oh,
she said
God.
the word, yeah.
So, And you described her to me as, like, what did she look like?
She was,
cranky old lady.
yeah, she was older. I mean,
She had
I
her
thought she was
days.
going to say something nice, and she just came up, and everyone let that happen to two 16-year-old girls.
Yep. Now, and nobody around you spoke up for you.
No.
No.
It was worse than that. Some of them actually yelled at them. Some people spat at them. It was absolutely crazy. That woman was the owner of the Seattle Storm. She's now been fined and suspended for 5 games. Is the WNBA and the NBA, for that matter, going to wake up and say, this is an opportunity to say to everybody in the WNBA, do you want to make money or not? You're always talking about pay us what we're worth, pay us our fair share, pay us all this. You literally are attacking your golden goose in Caitlin Clark. You are literally shaming Sophie Cunningham. She's bringing in more people. You know how I know there's a Storm game here at the studio? Let me just give you a little insight how it works around here. We're on the backside of Climate Pledge Arena, where I got to go across all of Seattle Center to get home. I got to go around Seattle Center because I-5 is that away. I got to go through traffic. When there's a Kraken game, if it lets out the same time my show's over, I am done. I am not going anywhere. I just stay here and work. Same thing if the game's starting. I just stay here and work. I wait till the game starts. I wait till it's going, like it's in the second period or something, and then I go home. When there's a Storm game, I never know. I never know because there's nobody there. There's barely anybody at the Storm game. So I can stay here, I can leave, I can come, I can go, whatever. It doesn't matter. The other night, that was the first time I saw traffic and people walking around here because everybody came to see Sophie Cunningham. Everybody came to see Caitlin Clark. And these guys should realize it. You want to beat Caitlin Clark? You want to beat Sophie Cunningham? Get better than them. Challenge them on the court. Having a political fight is not working out well for any of you. You're all losing. Because you know the only names I know in the WNBA? Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. I don't know who any of you are. You want to do the dream team from the 1990s? You know how I knew who all of them were? Because I followed them with the Jordan and the Ewings and the everybody else who was on that team and the Bird and the Magic and everything. I don't know who anybody in the WNBA is because none of them are making a splash. But now what you're trying to do is discourage fans, discourage teenage girls from showing up. A suspension is nice. A suspension is fine. I don't think it's enough. Because let's not forget some of the Storm themselves were insulting these girls. Some of the Storm themselves. Talk about no class. No class at all. You can support the Fever, the Indiana Fever, all you want. I wouldn't give any money to the Storm. I don't think anybody should buy tickets to watch them. I really, really don't. Only good news to wrap up the show. Your good news headlines put a smile on your face and an update from our friends over at the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Only good news to wrap up another amazing episode of the Ari Hoffman Show right here on Talk Radio 570 KVI. And we've been doing our annual Wishes in Flight challenge where we want everybody to give miles, to give money to the Make-A-Wish Foundation so we can grant dreams to very, very much deserving kids. Joining us now to discuss on the KVI studio line is Trina Cunningham, who's Jeanette Tarsha. Sorry, I messed both of you up today. That's my bad. Jeanette Tarsha, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for Make-A-Wish Alaska and Washington. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you. You can mess it up because I'm all smiles over here. It doesn't matter because you're granting wishes. So let's go.
Okay. Now, Jeanette, this is the call I actually look forward to most of the day because this is the one where we find out what the totals are because we're aiming to have 10 million miles by 6 o'clock. It's 5:51 by my watch. Where are we at?
Come on. We are way past that. Let's go. We're at almost 12 million miles, which is... I mean, can you hear the smile in my voice? Because I am in complete shock. This is way more than we thought we were going to raise today. So thank you to every single person that has called in, donated online, had us in your thoughts, whatever it is. We'll take all of the good, vibes out there.
I absolutely love this, that I even butchered your name, I butchered your title, and yet you're still smiling and all giddy on my show, which is even better. Okay, so tell me something like this. How many miles does it take for the average wish? Or it's just all over the place?
No, well, it is kind of all over the place, but I will say it's about 75,000 miles. And, the average Make-A-Wish family is a family of 5. I just heard today that because of this mileage success, we've already been able to book one family of 6 to their international travel to Japan. That has saved us $11,000, just that one family. So this is huge for us.
That's amazing. Now, people gave money too, and the money goes towards the wishes. So if a kid wants to be Batman, for example, renting the Batmobile or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're at almost $10,000. So we're getting close to hitting that mark too. So if people, are listening right now and they've been moved, they have, done a little bit well this year and they have a few, pennies that they want to give, we will take dollars as well as donations of airline miles. Everything helps.
Okay, now, Jeanette, we heard about the World War II shoot-down kid. We heard about the kid who wanted the wish where he's the World War II fighter pilot. What's another crazy one that you have personally been part of or witnessed or heard about?
Oh, my gosh. Well, there's so many. This is like asking someone, hey, who's your favorite child? Last year, I will say we granted one that was very special to me. It was a young man. He's 18. And he was like, you know what, I'm good, but I want to help bring joy to other kids. So he decided he wanted to donate gaming consoles to the oncology unit at Mary Bridge Children's Hospital. So we partnered with, Starlight Foundation and Bungie Foundation, and we got these special consoles that are now in the oncology clinic so that other kids can have the escape of a video game, when they're in for treatment and things are really tough for them. At least they can get a little bit of joy brought to them by playing those video game systems. So how special is that for this kid to say, you know what, I'm good, I'm going to help others?
I think that might be the best one ever because usually you hear from these kids, you just hear something like, well, I want this, I want that. But for a kid to say, I want to give to others, that's a really, really special thing, right?
It is. And, it's interesting because we have seen a swing where there are more and more of those kids. We call them to give wishes, where they want to bring joy and help their community. There's other kids out there that are wishing to do, similar things, which is wonderful. But we also love to be able to grant the heartfelt wish for the kid that wants to travel, of course, because traveling is a gift. And it's a gift that the entire family can enjoy, which is really special when these kids go through these illnesses. Yes, of course, the kid is the one who experiences this, but the family experiences it alongside them. So for us to be able to say, you know what, we got you. We're going to send you wherever your heart is, that, whatever your desire is. And then they can build these special moments and memories together in a new environment that's far away from the hospital corridors. It's so special.
That's amazing. Really, really amazing. So why don't you give us one more time? We're at over 12 million miles. So if you can, my friends, head on over to kvi.com, click the Wishes in Flight. If you haven't given yet, please do so, or call 206-404-4444. Jeanette Tarsha, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Congratulations. This is such great news. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Such a pleasure. Man, isn't that a great note to end the show on today? Really, really is. Ari Hoffman Show Reloaded is up next. We'll be back tomorrow with more insane stories, more exciting guests, and stories from Katie Wilson's press conference. I'm going. You've been listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI.